back to Modern Thesis. It is your boy Nas, and today we've got a special project, mostly because it's kind of selfish, of being honest. I'm simply going to be doing an exhaust hanger fix on the bottom of the truck. The weird thing is I don't have a decent wire feed welder, so we're going to do it with an arc welder. Not that that's an issue, but if you do have a wire feed or if you have a TIG, it's just going to be easier on you. With that said, we're going to take the side-by-side out of the shop, bring the truck in, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I just realized I'm not entirely sure that I can get the truck in here backwards, but we're going to give it a shot. It's going to be interesting. I cannot believe we just got that to fit exactly where we need it to. Look at this, inches to spare. So this shouldn't be that difficult of a fix. Simply put, there's an exhaust hanger right there. Kind of getting close in a minute. Right there, right where my finger is. That bad boy right there is broken. And I just noticed it the other day. It's one of those things where if I hadn't heard the crinkle for myself, or the tinkle, however you want to say it, the patink, I probably wouldn't have noticed. But as the truck was idling, I just saw it going, and I tell you what, it doesn't do it all the time, but when it does do it, it's annoying. It's beyond annoying. Fuck, I broke this thing. Come on, baby, I know you can switch, fuck it. The crazy thing about vehicles back in the day, boys and girls, is they were made of steel. See that? Magnetic light actually sticks to stuff. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said safety wasn't a bit of a factor with this. We are sitting right next to the gas tank. However, that gas tank is meant to take quite a bit of abuse. It doesn't mean put fire, sparks by it, or weld on it necessarily. So we are going to cover it up with a piece of, I don't know, something, some type of barrier. We have to find something that's of decent size. You know what we could use, actually, is my baking sheet. This might be just the thing. It's going to put a little bit of a barrier between where we're welding and, of course, the gas tank. Again, this isn't something I suggest anybody does without any prior experience. I have done this before, not to this vehicle, but alas, I have done it. I've got a friend, Vinny, right now, who's screaming at the screen, telling me there's an easier way to go about this. Now let's go and see if we can actually get the welder to reach. Are we oh my gosh, are we gonna reach? Look at this. What are the odds of that? Before we get into it, I'm gonna go and show you right here. This is what we're going for. This is loose. Should be fine, right, as is. I kind of was thinking even just bolt this off and just kind of let it sit there, but we should be good right where we're at. And there's a couple of different ways we could have gone about this. We could have used JB Weld, which if you guys have watched previous videos, you know that's one of my favorite things in the world. I mean, it just works like a charm. Two, we could have just, installed a new hanger, but let's be honest, that'd be too easy. It's not something I generally do. I want to make sure that this is as permanent as possible, and a new hanger would be permanent, but simply put, it costs money. So real quick, I just got to talk about this flashlight once. I had stuck this to the frame just like this during an oil change or a transmission flush, something along those lines. And after I wrapped up, I put everything away, not thinking about it. It was about a week and a half before I realized the flashlight was missing. Couldn't remember where the heck I put it. Come to find out, it had stuck to the bottom of this frame for almost 2 weeks. That is how solid this flashlight is. This is my favorite flashlight I own, period. I will have the link in the description for this on Amazon. With all that aside, let's go and get started. This is one of my favorite toolboxes I own. It's not a toolbox, it's a tool cart technically. But I traded a John Deere for it. And the John Deere was basically about to go to the scrap heap. I threw it up on Craigslist and said, if anyone wants to trade anything, let me know. $600 tool cart. Got it for basically something I was gonna throw away. Albeit, it used to be a lot nicer than it is now. I've had it for a long time. These may be overdoing it for our needs at the moment. It'll be just fine. If we need more than a box of sticks to spot weld this, we're in trouble. Gorgeous. Beautiful, look at that. All right, so that should work no problem. After this, what we'll do is just clean it up around the edges. We'll throw some water on it quick. That way we'll make it look a little bit better than it does. This is embarrassing. I just talked to the camera for 20 minutes.
How does it be like 20 minutes?
Without recording. Let's go ahead and do this again. So I already welded a portion of it. I'm gonna go ahead and weld the back end. All I did was turn the amperage up to 120 just so we can get enough of a spot weld so we don't have to mess around. Drop the amperage a little bit, so we're gonna go ahead and give it a full bead around now that we're cooled off a little bit. Afterwards, we're gonna clean it up with the die grinder and make it look all nice. So we'll get that rear side just a bit. Now that you can actually take a look at the work, it's gonna hold no problem. I'm not a pro welder, I'm not a professional fabricator in any way, shape, or form. So with that said, we're going to grab the old die grinder and we're gonna work it over with that sander to make it look as nice as possible. So as you can guess, I'm as big of a Milwaukee fan as anybody else. And I'm gonna just be honest with you, Milwaukee does not make the best of everything, right? They just don't. Some companies make better variations or better versions. I'll give you a good example. The best Sawzall is not made by Milwaukee in my humble opinion. I've used them for demo on a regular basis. I'm gonna tell you right now, DeWalt, DeWalt, DeWalt in terms of Sawzalls. The biggest selling point for me with the Sawzall is gonna be the ability to actuate the blade 45-degree angle from left to right, not just vertically. With that aside, I gotta say I've used other die grinders. Milwaukee's, in my opinion, is by far and away the best one. This die grinder has been through hell and back. This bad boy is worth every penny. Link will be in the description. Speaking, I will put an alternate link in the description to a different tool that's similar, but of decent quality. I'm not sure that one exists for this specific setup. The die grinder by Milwaukee, as far as I'm concerned, is in a class of its own. With that, so let's go and throw some paint at it, that way we don't gotta worry about it rusting. Now this here is a hood rat trick, works just fine. We just want it on the bare metal, not necessarily on anything else. All right, so in this scenario, we're gonna be using a high temp silicone paint. And again, it's not even for aesthetics, it's literally just to keep any rust off of that hanger. Just gonna let that dry and give it one more coat afterwards. Ain't nothing fancy. My final summation is this. In today's throwaway society, it'd be so easy for me to go out and get a new bracket for that exhaust. I'm not a great welder nor fabricator. Hell, I'm not even a mechanic. But at the end of the day, with help, I built this truck with my bare hands. And with help, I know that I can fix 90% of the stuff on this vehicle. So militia, at the end of the day, that's what I want to pass on to you. So with that said, I want to tell y'all that I appreciate y'all for spending time with me in the shop. I'm out. Yeah, older I get, the more I look like that dude in that magnet toy.